And we are back to episode number 33.
33.
Yeah. Our podcast's getting pretty fucking old. And it's in its mid-30s, getting close to the back half of its life, you know.
What?
Yeah. Dude,
Are you saying? Are you
like
saying
I'm saying, when you reach 40, right? Odds are you are more than halfway done with your life.
Are you trying to fucking foreshadow the podcast's death?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that at all,
dude.
We're gonna
I'm here on a
youthful.
Sunday morning, and you want to fucking talk about the death of two addicts and a moron?
No.
Forever young.
Let's be clear. Not about two addicts and a moron. I'm talking about the death of people. All right.
Okay. You
actual
scared me for a
people
second,
out there.
dude.
Yeah. No. We're good. We're strong. Virile.
We're strong.
So I want to. That was fucking weird, man.
That's all right.
All right. I want to talk about something that happened last week.
Yeah.
And it needs to be addressed very seriously. So these pterodactyls flying around the fucking room. Mm-hmm. One went in my nose in the middle of asking a very important question.
Last week.
Last week flew right up my fucking right nostril. Yeah. And it was like flying around. And in the middle of it, I was like, I was, looking probably like some of the guys you used to hang out with. I was like, what the And it started feeling it wiggle in the back of my throat and shit. I was like,
how it feels.
Yeah. And so I needed to bring that to, I don't want that to happen again. That was terrible.
Well,
that was the worst.
Yeah. The fruit flies they're not as bad right now.
They're not, man. It's starting to cool off a little bit.
It's cooling off. They're about to migrate down to Mexico.
And I'm going to miss them.
I don't know.
I'm going to miss them a little bit. Yeah. When they go away, I'm going to miss them.
Hey, I like that you said that. Now you know what it was like. Now you know what it's like. You ever snorted methamphetamine?
Never.
Let me tell you something, dude.
Man.
Worst fucking feeling ever.
Yeah.
That little drip you were talking about?
Yeah.
Not the drip.
Yeah.
Like a fucking brain freeze in your nose, dude.
Yeah. So
Now you know.
Now, and knowing is half the battle.
Let me find out you're at. Let me find out he's at home. He's snorting fruit flies. Chopping up fruit flies.
Test this out one more time.
Let me make sure this.
He's got dehydrated fruit flies and grinds them down into a powder.
Bro, I was watching this thing on YouTube where kids were smoking bed bugs. You ever heard
Oh,
of this?
yeah. I remember that.
And they were injecting them because bed bugs have a chemical in their body that makes you hallucinate.
Yeah.
But you can't separate it.
Yes,
So you got to
dude, I
do
remember
all of
that.
it or none of it. So you either got to smoke it all or inject it all, and it makes you hallucinate. Jesus.
Yeah, I remember that was like what?
That's fucking.
You gotta search for those bed bugs. Man.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
You gotta really fucking farm them into like a bag and stuff.
Well, you just go
Go
to
to any trap house I've ever been to.
right, or just go to a Budget Inn or an Austin Village Inn, Austin Motor Inn.
Hey, they housed me for a long time.
They housed me
Let's
too.
not talk bad.
Oh yeah, no. Shouts out to Austin Motor Inn, man.
And the bed bugs.
$56 a night saved
This
my
is
life.
how I know we were on different levels because I never stayed in any one of those places.
Oh, dude.
I was like La Quinta at the bare minimum.
Ooh, I wish. I wish I could get a La
Oh,
Quinta.
you fancy.
Yeah, you fancy.
Fancy.
Yeah. Every now and then I could get a Motel 6, but not on the weekend because it was like $99.
I've lived in all those hotels by Rumberg.
Oh, yeah.
I got stuck at that Budget Inn for
Oh, dude, I'm banned from that Budget Inn.
yeah, dude.
I'm banned from there.
I'm on when you know you're at rock
I'm on a
bottom.
DNR. Do not rent to this guy.
Rock bottom at that
Like,
point.
what the fuck?
I gotta say, man, when you're getting fucking DNR'd from a Budget Inn,
Yeah.
holy shit,
Yeah.
Jesus,
Dude, I don't know if you've been there, but this is the type of hotel that's the way that it's structured, the office, there's like a one way in, one way out. And they're like, who's with you? Like, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Just when you're going in, but when you're actually in, it's like a different world. There's people,
Right.
all sorts of ungodly things
It's like
going
The
on in
Office.
there.
They want to stop it, but once you get past, it's like we know what's going on. Just keep it in the house.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And dude, it's very trippy, dude. Like it's right next to a game room. It's next to an interstate.
Yeah.
It's next to Rumberg. Like it's the worst
I knew what they were
possible.
doing.
yeah.
You know,
They call that prime location.
Yeah.
that is, yeah.
Well, we went from snorting fucking fruit flies to being kicked out of budget ends. Why don't we get this episode started?
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Travis Sleeper, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming by, brother. I've heard a lot about you. Just being in a couple of rooms and being around these guys, and I'm really excited to have you. I feel like I kind of know you a little bit from just hearing about you. So I'm excited to meet you, and even happier that you came on.
Yeah,
So-
well, thank you guys.
Absolutely,
Letting me
dude,
come up
absolutely.
here. It's been cool so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, we're going to do some introductions, and we got a tradition that we do. So as a guest of honor, you're going to go last. You can introduce yourself however you'd like. Over here in the middle, Joey the Moron.
to the left, Jay Klein.
To the right middle, Mike Stewboy, Addict Meth GHB.
And to the far right, Travis. I'm an addict, and I like to color on people.
All right. Tattoo artists, man. Yeah, we've already talked. We're getting set up with you. Let's do our tradition, and then I'll get into that. Come on, man.
Sorry.
Come on. We're going to get off the rails here.
Sorry, I'm all hyped up.
That's rails.
I'm all jacked up on sober water.
That's fair.
And you've seen the episodes?
Yes.
Okay. In the beginning, we start every episode with a moment of silence to remember those that are in addiction. So, like we do every episode, let us bow our heads, close our eyes, let us get centered, let us get present. Think about the addict that's still out there struggling, the friends and family members that are struggling with them, and the addict that unfortunately cannot be with us here today. Let us take a moment of silence and always remember them. Thank you.
All right. Well, Jay Klein was very eager about this, and I get why. We are now a proud sponsor partner of Sober Water. Sober Water, everybody.
Get it on Amazon.
Grab it on Amazon. Tell your local convenience store to bring it to Austin. These guys are doing it right. They're in it to help people, and all people, not just people in recovery, even though that's what they have a background in, but they just want to help people. And it's fucking really good water. It's not in a plastic fucking bottle. Just good stuff.
I brought one into work, and there's like, is that Coors Light? there might be why. Put them in these kind of bottles. I will tell you this. My daughter's the most, what would you say, picky person, and she loves them. She went through, like, she brought them to school. I was like, baby, I don't know if you should bring a sober water to school. And she's like, nah, Dad, I'm bringing it. And I'm telling people what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, fair. Don't tell your mom. Don't tell your mom you brought it.
bring a sober water.
Yeah.
They are refreshing. Dude.
Yeah.
They're really good.
It's from the mountains in California. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, I was done. She was, so I think it's from a spring, right? Natural spring water. And she's like, Dad, what's the difference between spring water? She's asked me this 1,500 fucking times already. I'm just, baby, I just think it's further in the ground. It's just real good for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you're asking a drug addict. I don't know.
drink the water.
You gotta get creative with it. Like, oh, dude, this will spring you straight to life. Like, it'll make you feel empowered.
Yeah.
And like,
Hell yeah.
It'll
all
make
this
you.
good stuff.
Yeah.
You could be, it gets you high. I don't know. I know. It does not. It's just water. It's very good water.
And we lost our sponsor. It's sober water.
Oh, man.
It's
Fun one last.
We got an email waiting on us. Yeah. You said my water would get you high?
It was a joke.
Yeah.
All right. God.
Sober water
Sober water.
will not get you high.
That's a great slogan. Yeah. That's a fucking great slogan.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. So, Travis, how long have you been sober?
I have been sober for about 4.5 years.
Come on.
Hey.
Yeah, it's been a crazy road, man. It's been a crazy road. Honestly, I never thought I could make it this far.
You and everybody else on
sure.
that same road, brother.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think that it's anything like crazy as to like time for me now isn't like the same. I remember when I was first getting sober, I wanted to like reach these milestones like a year, 2 years, 3 years, like all this stuff. But there was a switch that happened around like probably like 18 months, 2 years where I was like, dude, it really doesn't even matter about my length of time. It's all about my quality of life. And that was like a very important switch because I've had struggles like while I've been sober. Nowhere near like when I was, in active addiction, but they're kind of like reality checks. Like I'm living life at this point, and the program that got me to the point I'm at today is like a keystone in my life to maintain a certain quality of life that I can like function, right? So yeah, I've had a lot of friends that like, made it to 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, and like gone back out and never came back. Some like, passed away due to this addiction. And that gave me like real reality checks that, man, I just got to keep doing the things that put me in the place I am today, that got me the 4 years or X amount of days, really.
Yeah, everybody's process seems to be different in that.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I don't know that I envy this. It's just it strikes a chord with me, with you two. Everybody who comes in to sit down, it's how many friends they've lost. How many, and probably how many friends you will continue to lose with you guys being such a tight community, right? So that to me, like when a friend or a family member passes away on me, it's fucking devastating. And I know it's no less devastating for y'all. It just seems like it's so much more room for that to happen.
Yeah.
I guess, and
the unfortunate thing about that, for some people more so than others, it can put you in a state of almost like desensitized.
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I've seen so many people lose the battle to this to addiction, man, over my course of being sober. There has been a few, and I think even the few that really hit me hard, like really kind of fucked me up, even made me more desensitized. That being said, it's not like I don't care about people.
Right.
Or I fucking love the people in the rooms. Like I can just meet a person, like they just walked up in the room and into a meeting, and I know like we're gonna vibe on it to at least a certain extent. Like you're my homie, you're cool, we're gonna be friends. That being said, I really try to be present with our time together, and try to keep people, try to help be a person. To keep someone on course,
Yeah.
because the reality is if like, someone falls off and they lose the battle, I mean, it's almost become like a normality, you know, you kind of become detached to it.
And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to institute the moment of silence at the beginning of every episode of a podcast, right? 'Cause I don't ever want to get to the point of where we forget or where we don't remember. Not that I understand life goes on, right, and like acceptance and and trying to deal with like, well, this just comes with the territory of addiction, especially with fentanyl use increasing. But I want to do my best, and we do our best to make sure that we don't get to a state like that.
Right.
Or if we kind of fall trap into it just by whatever, that, we always remember, because
100%. That's important.
Well, I think, and me being like a normie and me not being desensitized to that, I think brings that a little bit of a dynamic to that, as I don't want anybody to, I don't, at least in our little world here, to ever get so desensitized to losing people that it just becomes part of the norm. That's not fucking normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not normal at all. There's nothing.
It's not normal. But on the flip side of that is like, I think that's also a part of the drive of like the recovery community to go above and beyond for so many people in the rooms. It's like, man, I've been surrounded by I've met so many people in recovery that will literally do everything in their power to like help someone course correct or just be there when it's needed, you know, or just whatever the situation requires. Like people in recovery are some of the people that are the most driven people I've ever met, that will help anyone like in any walks of life.
Amen to that.
So I think that's the flip side of that, you know. You can win a lot. People in recovery can win a lot as far as impact on the community. But what comes with that is, you know, occasional losses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why we help so much is because it's literally life and death for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you guys get a front row seat to that in a real way. And that just call it what it is, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and so, yeah, man, thanks for pointing that out and letting us. I don't think that's something we've ever really talked about on here before. So what was your DOC?
So my main relationship with drugs was definitely heroin. I got sober before fentanyl really took off and boomed. So my main time was spent with opiates and heroin. In a way, I guess that saved me from a lot of potential, you know, chances of worse things happening to me, although I didn't dodge that whatsoever. I've got a lot of consequences in my addiction. Yeah, I guess that's a good introduction to that. You know?
So heroin, huh?
Yeah.
And how do you think, so how long were you in active addiction?
Okay, so that's a really tricky one to answer.
It
right?
is for most people. It's
honestly, dude, I probably was born with addictive, you know, behaviors for sure. I believe, and it gets kind of foggy, but I believe I started probably smoking weed around like 10, 13. No, because by the time I was 13, I started catching a lot of charges, like getting in trouble with the law. I was getting like minor in consumptions, minor in possessions. I think I did coke by the time I was like 13, 14. And that was kind of my first addiction was coke.
Yeah.
That's a gross one, bro. I don't even know how. Like, the man I am today, after heroin, could never see me doing coke. Anyways,
I'm part of the elite class of heroin addicts.
Right.
We don't do cocaine.
bro, it's just so, like, you just feel so uptight. Like,
dude.
damn. But
Got the jaw saw going.
yeah, needless to say, after coke, I needed to chill out with Xanax.
okay.
And dude,
Needed to.
yeah, bro, that one was bad.
That might be the most dangerous drug.
That one was bad.
on the-
Yeah, it was sloppy.
Yeah.
Those were some sloppy days, dude.
Yeah.
I collected a good amount of scars from partying.
Probably lost a
drinking.
couple cell phones, couple
Bro,
wallets.
I lost a couple months / years.
Yeah,
Of my life. I don't even know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I like straight up, dude.
That played that
What year is it? 2020. What?
Straight up,
dude. That drug will teleport you.
Yeah. I actually, well, we'll go all out. We're already here. So I was classified as OD'd on these things. I shouldn't even say that. I OD'd on Xanax. And that was a weird situation. I think that was towards the end of my use of Xanax, right? Because that was several years, but I had OD'd actually twice. One time I was found like around the corner from my mom's house. I was actually like, my head was almost in a gutter and some runner found me And
Yeah, what a way to interrupt a jog, bro.
4
Good job.
a.m. The 4 a.m. jogger. It was like a little treasure hunt.
I'm fucking found him. Look at that.
Scavenger hunt. But they called the EMS and the cops, and this is why it was a little confusing. Is so like they said I OD, but I came back too, and I was not happy. Like obviously I don't remember. This was all told to me from like everyone else because I knew people from growing up that were in EMS and in the hospitals, healthcare. So they saw me, right? And I was not cooperative. I was like trying to fight the fucking EMS.
Yeah.
Like, get off of me, stranger danger type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know me. Anyways, I had to get strapped down, catheters, all this stuff to get drain that out of me. Yeah, man, I got put into Shoal Creek.
Yeah.
A couple times because like after I'd left the hospital after these ODs, like at that age, I believe you get put for a 5150 hold or something where the cops like, you took too many drugs or you're obviously trying to kill yourself. Definitely wasn't. Just partied a little too hard. And so they actually transport you from the hospital to Shoal Creek. So I think I've been there like 2 or 3 times during that stint with Xanax. So as things progress, I do a bunch of different things, especially throughout high school. Pretty much tried every drug, pretty much. There is out there. Obviously I was getting into a lot of trouble. My whole family is very straight-laced, good people, like good. So I don't even say sober, just straight edge. I'm the only drug addict.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the black sheep of the family here.
Yeah.
So yeah, needless to say, I don't know how my mom did it, like put up with me for so long. Like as a father, I'm a father now.
Yeah.
I just don't even think, I don't know how she did it, dude. I was hard to deal with, right?
Yeah.
That being said, by the time I was like 15, 16, I was running away so much. I know at some point in my memory, I believe that like she just kind of kicked me out at a point. And so I was living in cars, staying with friends that would house me. At some point I got, some friends in high school, their parents like took off to another state and left them the house, like rented out the house. So I was living there for a while, and that's when things started getting really crazy. High school parties, all that good stuff. That house got raided, which led to the next house, right? I ended up going to this other house. This guy I knew had this weird situation going on. Like he mowed this lady's grass and she like housed him, basically let him stay in this house she was trying to rent, and he snuck me in there. It was there that like one night we started dabbling with heroin. I believe I was like 16-ish, something around there. I immediately took too much. I snorted it, threw up. I didn't like OD at that point, but I think several times that week I had like minor ODs, and one time I had a very bad OD. Like I OD'd, he flipped out. He like beat me up, basically trying to wake me up. He was like punching me. He drugged me into the living room, and he left me, right? And but he did call the cops, I believe. I don't know, because I was Narcan and I woke up in this big ass party of cops. And like my main concern was like, bro, why are you guys wearing shoes? Like, because this was a house we were supposed to keep clean.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, the carpets are gonna get fucked up. It was crazy.
Very responsible of you.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I've always had like a tinge of responsibility in me, hiding somewhere, you know? Like there was a conscience in there sometimes. But yeah, at that point too, needless to say, so like how I would survive during that time period, especially through my high school days, I was selling, weed and like pills, other things like that. And that always kept me surviving, you know, when I was younger. So when the cops came in that day, I had a bunch of weed, all sorts of stuff. So I was freaking out. Yeah, I ended up going to the hospital. Nothing happened there, dude. Went to school. I was worried they're gonna come pull me out of high school. This is just like my timeless scares with the police, right? What ended up happening is they basically kind of put me in like a database of like people of interest, right?
Yeah.
This kind of got me into a lot of trouble. You know, like everywhere I went, I was in like the Cedar Park area. I ended up leaving the hospital. My mom and family were freaking out. Obviously, rightfully so. I was a hot mess. I had a girlfriend at the time. I ended up staying with her. That's when I really kind of started getting super strung out, to fast forward things because I could get lost in all these little details.
Yeah.
I started doing a lot more heroin, not with her. She was actually not about that.
Were you snorting it first? And
No,
then you
so
switched?
I snorted it that one initial time, right? And I threw up and I was like, that was gross. I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking amazing, but that was gross. And then I instantly went to shooting it up.
I got you.
By the way, after prolonged use of heroin, like your veins get destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed, dude. And that's what happened to me over the years, for sure. Plays out in a lot of different ways. But anyways, so yeah, fast forwarding, I get strung out. I was living with her for a while. You know, we were together for like 4 years at that time span through high school, outside of high school. And this kind of led me up to my first stint in prison, right? So at the time, I was selling still. That's when I started getting introduced to trying to sell different things. Obviously, I was like a raging addict at this point, doing all sorts of drugs, mainly heroin. Could not afford this shit. Like, this is hard thing to
That's an
like,
expensive drug.
this is hard to like stay on top of. So I was doing all sorts of shit, selling weed, anything I could, pills. Occasionally tried selling heroin. Wasn't really into that yet. I did end up, I started selling like ecstasy and stuff like that and getting involved into that party scene there. With a couple friends. Really, it was some of my friends that had this like front on this guy, and we would go to all these raves and we'd just sell him, right? And so I was all up in that scene. I really lost myself because all I was doing was like going to different clubs. Like I think I had already graduated at this point, and so there was really no structure. And anyways, I ended up throughout all that stuff getting involved in Molly, and long story short, I ended up getting to a sting operation with my girlfriend. We were going to pick up a bunch of Molly at a post office, and little did I know that it was the whole thing was a setup. I think I went and grabbed it out. Someone grabbed it out, either her or me, and it was like coming in this Haji detergent powder. And I noticed when I opened it that the corner was clipped, right, and taped up. And I was like, oh, this is weird. But like, I was so just out of it at that point. I just barely looked at it and was like, okay, we need to get out of here. This is actually in Cedar Park. So shout out to Cedar Park. Wow. Anyways, yeah, so we were driving out of there, and like a bunch of cops like ended up trailing us. They look like unmarked cars, but like obviously if you're
This was on 1431?
Yeah. If you're running around long enough, you can see.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'll know.
Oh, yeah.
Always is like that is a sketchy ass cop looking vehicle. You know, like
Never leaves you.
Yeah.
Oh, especially in the dark. Oh, those are cop headlights.
Straight
Dude,
up.
I don't
Like,
care.
I
I'm
don't
hitting
know
a
what
fucking.
time of day it is, what month it is.
I don't
like,
care.
where my
I'm hitting a
socks
corner.
are.
I'm hitting a block. We're getting off this. We're getting out of the way.
Yeah, but yeah. So one went behind her, and I was like a little uncomfortable. Then another one went behind her, and we're at a red light, by the way, at this point. And I'm like, oh, dude, this is fucking weird. And like they started like collecting behind the car, and went green. I'm like, just take a left. I just need to get away from these
Right.
cars. This is really uncomfortable. Anyways,
Yeah,
and
I
they
bet.
lit us up, and like we got blocked into this like bank or some shit like that. And I mean, they were everywhere at that point. I don't even know how many were there. Like we blockaded.
Yeah.
I just remember they swarmed me, and they're like, they opened the door, like, put your hands up and get out. Like, put your hands on your head, and you're under arrest. And I was like, the only thing I remember saying was like, oh, this is mine. She didn't do anything. Like,
Yeah, okay.
you know. They dragged me out. I actually had a bunch of Molly in my pocket. I had to eat it, which is a whole trip in
Oh
itself,
no.
dude. Because I was tripping in jail. It was horrible. They were questioning me. But yeah, I lost myself on going off on these small stories. But anyways,
They pulled you out of the car.
yeah, they pulled me out of the car. I went to jail. I was looking at 5 to 99 for possession controlled substance with intent to deliver. That sucked. You guys.
Yeah.
This sucked. Like I had been in trouble with the law a lot growing up. I never really actually did a lot of time. Like I had started going to jail for small misdemeanors when I was 18, but this is like serious.
Yeah,
bro.
big
I was
boy.
like, yeah,
Big boy
18,
shit.
19 too, mind
Yeah.
you. I'm like a scrawny little party kid that just went
Yeah.
to fucking clubs and whatever else, house parties. It's all I ever knew. I'm like, I don't know jail.
Yeah.
Like I color. Bro.
Yeah.
I was coloring at fucking in high school.
I colored.
That's it. That's it, dude. Just let me do my drugs. Let me color. God, life's hard, man. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. Anyway, yeah, I sat out in county a lot of time. I didn't know what to do. Everyone was scaring me in jail, like, oh, you're gonna get fucking life, you're fucked, and all this shit. And I was just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Anyways, what ended up happening, so when they're doing sting operations, they print out a warrant and they have to follow that shit to a T,
Yeah.
right? Everything that they do, I'm not trying to fucking help anyone with like be a jailhouse attorney or anything like that. But a lot of times if they don't follow the things they're to a T, there's loopholes to get out of
Yeah.
the situation. Now, I didn't get out by any means, and nor was I smart enough to plea out or fight it if I had the chance to beat the situation. Although they were on the warrant, they were trying to seize different drugs, like the labeling of the chemical, than what I had. And they came at me with, so I was already on probation, actually. I forgot about this. I got pulled over one time with like a cooker with
Yeah.
dope on it, just like a residue, Williamson County.
Yeah.
Got a state jail felony, signed for probation. Anyways, they came at me and ran both of those cases concurrent. Two year sentences ran concurrent. And at the time, I was like in county for like 7, 8 months, maybe even longer, 10 months. I don't even know. At that point, I was like hearing 2 years when like all I was hearing was like 10, 15, all these big numbers. Everyone else in the jail is like, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I signed, dude. And yeah, man. I grew up in prison, bro. Those are like formative years. What I'd imagine is formative years for people's life, like out in the world, right?
Yeah.
You're like developing yourself, becoming like an adult, trying to figure out a job and shit like that. I was in prison. Like,
And how long did you sign for?
2 years.
Okay.
Ran concurrent. Yeah. And so I will say this is a blessing, though. I see it today as a blessing because this is, okay. Because I spent a large portion of my time drawing in there. Once I actually I started hustling in there. That was like one of my hustles in county is I was drawing and it was keeping me surviving in county. Once I got to prison, you can tattoo in there, right? It's not like
Yeah.
they don't have like tattoo machines. They're gonna here buy it on commissary.
Yeah.
But there's
There's ways.
I'll skip the whole details of that, dude. It's a lot. But anyways, we tattoo in there. So yeah, I remember some dude. I was drawing all the time in there, making different things for people, hustling, and someone was like, "Dude, you should tattoo. Like, you're really good." And I was like, oh, thanks, man. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to buy a tattoo. Well, I'll call that one a tattoo gun. P.S. They're always called tattoo machines. But in prison, I'll call that a tattoo gun because it's a little janky.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure. But I'm sure it makes you really good today.
Yeah.
Because that's how you had to learn was with some janky ass shit.
You know what? This is, a lot of people. So this is not everybody knows my story on how I got started tattooing. This is actually like,
Oh wow.
Oh.
yeah,
Exclusive.
I skip this
time.
all the time. I'm like, I tattooed friends for a couple years in my house and like willing friends, and built a portfolio, and they let me go and work at a shop. Kinda, a little bit. Some of that happened. Most of it happened in prison. All right. So someone bought me a machine, dude, and I fucked him up, and I fucked up a lot of people, dude. I didn't know what I was doing, man. But this is what's cool about that is that like the dynamic, like the way that those tattoo guns are made are similar in theory to the coil machines out here. They have the same kind of theories of electromagnets, all this different building a coil. So you build a coil in there. I learned a lot about electricity and like coils and different things like that could on a minor level translate out here. So it did give me this small different type of apprenticeship, right? Anyways, I served out all 2 years. And through that time, I became like one of the best on the unit I was at. And also, I got really into like the prison scene. And I made a lot of money in there. I walked out. Oh, there's a lot of money for prison, especially not like Fed shit. But like I walked out with like $1,000 cash.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And yeah, dude, I got a machine. I did have help. Actually, I did have help from my old art teacher. I ended up living with her at the time, which, she's a major part of my story in life. But creatively, she did nothing crazy. I always get asked this, like, what you guys got going on? I'm like,
they're touching paintbrushes and stuff.
We didn't do anything crazy. She was like a huge mentor in my life creatively, and I would say like a second type of like parental figure in my life, so I got out. I think within like I did start tattooing. This is where my story comes in that most people know is like, I tattooed on willing friends. That really did happen. Yeah. Right? After I got out of prison, I had to relearn how to use an actual tattoo machine, right? Totally different dynamic, similar but different, right? To like research all this stuff, fast forward, tattooed on all sorts of friends, built a portfolio, got my first gig in a tattoo shop, and got strung out again. Like, although this time I was in a shop, right?
And when was that?
I went in 2012, got out 2014. I was probably in a shop, like, I'd say latest, like 6 months after getting out. I will say I was a little like stir crazy. There was a lot that went on right before I got out, so it was really hard for me to adjust. Like I didn't even talk to anybody for a good like month or so after I got out of prison. Like I'd left literally a month after a huge prison riot and all this stuff, so I couldn't even really walk through HEB comfortably.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and it kind of changes your dynamic and like the way you think and how you perceive respect and disrespect. Especially, that's when I say formative years. Like my first time going to prison, because I went more than once, that was a hard adjustment, to come back. Instagram had never been around. Oh, wait, no, Instagram was the second time. I don't fucking know. Anyway, a lot of things changed out in the world.
Right.
All right. When I finally did come out, I was hanging out. I ended up started getting introduced to more friends. It's hard for me to remember how I even got introduced back into heroin at that point. But I do know, I was going to a lot of strip clubs, a lot of partying, and somewhere down the line, some of the group of people I hung out around, we got heroin and got high again, and it sent me off to the races, bro. And it got ugly, man. It got ugly like it always does, dude. Yeah. It got really bad. I remember at some point I had a duplex with another girl, and I was cheating on all these. I feel bad because I did a lot of after, and I'd even argue before I went to prison. A lot of the way I functioned was like being housed by people, right? I could never fully function myself, so a lot of girls did help me along the way. A lot of the people I'd been with, and I feel horrible because I was really a dirtbag, dude.
Yeah.
I was a dirtbag. I cheated on a lot of the girls I was with. It was like my next way of survival. Like, oh, this is a place I could be at. This is she's cute too. She's hot. Like we vibe.
Thinking just in case.
Yeah,
Couple steps
there was
ahead.
always a just in case.
Yeah.
Literally my life, that was part of like survival. Is okay, have a plan B. If you can, have a plan C, D, E, because you're gonna fuck up plan B too. You're gonna fuck up plan B, and you need all these in line, like aligned to survive, man. Battle of the fittest. Nah,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of right though,
Yeah.
And I just think about you being such a young man in prison, learning that world and then coming back out still as a young man, trying to operate outside of prison, man. That's pretty fucking wild, man. It's a harrowing story.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely weird, dude. My first time, my whole personality, I would say, had changed and developed from prison.
Yeah.
Right? Learning how to survive. I skipped the part where you're supposed to get a job and learn how to be responsible. And just like now I'm like 22 because I went in around 19. I got out when I was 22. Although I had this like craft I had been working on, right? But now I have to learn that part of like, how do I be a responsible person? How do I like pay bills? And how do I do this? The correct way. How am I supposed to be on a lease? Even more so now that I'm starting my life as a felon, right? I don't know if many people know, but my heart goes out to felons that are like doing good in their life, that are struggling to find places, dude.
Yeah.
Because they make it so fucking hard, dude, out here. They make it so hard for people that are like changing their life. I will say I was not the best candidate for that when I first got out of prison, you know?
Sure.
Although it was a reality that I had to face. Like I couldn't get a place on my own, so I needed a girlfriend, and the bare minimums, right? They couldn't have felonies. Like if they had charges, we couldn't be together. We could fuck around, but like we couldn't be together,
I've always said like when you go do your time, depending on what it's for, like if you're a rapist, molester, that should stay on your record forever.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's like a drug charge or something and you went and did your 2 or 3 years, wipe that shit off so you can go and fucking reestablish yourself.
100%.
It's got to be fucking. I know how hard it is. Like when I got off of drugs, I've never had a charge, but I had bad credit, and that's fucking hard getting a place like that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having and you're a felon.
Yeah.
Like fucking good luck. You ain't fucking coming over here.
It's hard,
right?
dude.
Yeah, I've always said like there should be something where they wipe certain things off your record where you can just move on with your life rather than having to fucking start from the bottom and have to scrape or find people to live with or fucking, it's not
I completely agree.
even getting jobs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs that won't hire you because you had a drug charge.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck. I just
So
fucking
on
went
that
through 3 or 4 years. I'm,
Yeah. Like I to tell you the truth, my record, like if I didn't tattoo, I couldn't work at McDonald's. Like I couldn't even work at McDonald's. Don't get me wrong. Like I'd probably find some way in some trade or something like that. That'd be my best route. But fast forward to who I am today. I have 7 felonies, right? Been to prison twice. I can't even get a job at fucking McDonald's, right? Because I'll fail the background check, right?
yeah.
It's crazy, but I have this career, and like it is mind-boggling, right? Because they just label you in the society that we live in, like, oh, here's 1 slash for you. Now you can't do this. Oh, 2 slashes, you're kind of out of there. 3 slashes, good luck, dude. Try not to get homeless. Also, don't catch more felonies. Good luck, dude.
Or stay recovered.
Yeah. Also, but on the flip side, I like to flip it when I'm talking about like kind of negative feeling situations that like this is why God, there's so many ways to get sober and there's so many paths to recovery, but this is why my personal one through the 12 steps like programs is so crucial, right? God, do we build a network, dude?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
sober livings, bro. Like felonies, who gives a fuck? I'll get it. You'll find it. You need help finding a place? I know fucking 50 people
Yeah.
that like we can connect you with. If they don't know them, I bet they know another 50.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna get you a place, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you fucking relapsed 3 days ago? You haven't. Okay, I need you to be sober for like 24. You know, we'll figure this out, dude. You're gonna.
Yeah.
There's NA2. Oh, there's a place that you can crash at for a couple days till we get you housed or till we get you in detox, and that's what's cool, right?
Yeah.
So if the system is failing on a legal level, there's communities that try to like push it, man.
Sure.
Because honestly, if it wasn't there, I don't really know what sort of resources would help.
Yeah,
And
just,
addicts.
just like working too in recovery. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that work in recovery that if they didn't work in recovery, they'd have a hard time finding something else.
Yeah.
But because our community is so welcoming to, look, everybody has a background pretty much
Yeah.
in most cases, or you have something against you, but you're welcomed here.
Yeah.
Like that, because the people that run the places normally came from the same place that we did, and they know exactly what we go through and all that.
Yeah, dude.
You can probably speak on that too, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, ideally, you'd want people that have been through similar struggles
Yeah.
in your place. So
Yeah.
it's like, you're gonna have to take what comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks to the transformation volume of it. Like it. You can now get an example right in front of you that, hey, this is possible. You can do this.
100%.
Yeah. That's crucial.
But if you want to, this is where also accountability comes into part, right?
Yeah.
I have a record too. Luckily I didn't get any convicted felonies, but I have enough misdemeanors and and I have certain misdemeanors that
You're serious too sometimes, man.
like that, bro. I can believe. I'm like, bro. Yeah, I was so excited that I beat all these fucking felonies. Well, it was like two of them. And I'm like, I fucking got it dropped down to a misdemeanor. Yeah. Come to find out, the misdemeanor is just as bad as a fucking felony.
It can be, dude.
Yeah.
This is true, dude.
Yeah.
I had to work before what I was doing now. I worked in a hot ass fucking electrical warehouse, bundling pipe in the heat.
Yeah.
Because that was the only job that would take me. I can't work in retail because I had a theft charge on me. It's just on the record because it's a NOLO. You know what I mean? Like, wasn't convicted, wasn't not convicted. It's just a NOLO. But still, if you even got that on there, just an inkling of that, you're gonna get denied any type of retail or, who cares if it happened in 2000. Another thing, I thought it went away in 5, 6, 7 years. I'd be good. No, it's on there, and they don't care if it's from 2014 in Cedar Park. Oh, you robbed Marshalls.
Yeah.
Can't work here.
I got fucking 2 bottles of cologne from them.
For real, dude. Like,
I hadn't showered in 2 weeks.
most people are not gonna, outside of the recovery community, they're not gonna really be understanding of what a second chance looks like. But every now and then, you will find those people just outside of the recovery community or in the community at large that believe in second chances or third chances.
Yeah.
And, you do hear great success stories like that. Like, hey, I got a house because this person, gave me a chance.
For sure.
Yeah. You know what? Sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I've gotten a few people hired with where I work, even though there's background checks, just because I know that they're on a different path.
Yeah.
And they need that they just need that little bit of help. Yeah. Just give me that little bit of fucking chance. And I'll go vouch for it. There's a guy right now that works with me. They were like, he went through the interviews and then they come to me and they said, "Did you know he had a background?" Yeah. And they said, "Why didn't you tell us?" Because y'all wouldn't have interviewed him. But now that you interviewed him and you want to hire him, who gives a fuck if he has a background?
Amen, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
He did his time. Fucking give him a chance. And fucking in the interview, he told him, he said, "Look, I've fucked up at everything in life. Give me a chance and I won't fuck up at this." And he's doing great. But sometimes you have to have somebody vouch for you.
Yeah.
And that's where the people in recovery will always vouch for somebody else in recovery.
And I think that's on the rise, right? I think that's on a rise, and it's going to be bigger than the recovery community eventually with the fentanyl, epidemic going on right now.
Yeah.
It's that gap between like what someone that's not a normie would have between an addict, like how they can't understand like what addiction's like and like why they like demonize or whatever. That's gonna get smaller because their cousin's gonna get addicted, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna or their fucking uncle, someone around them, whether it be their friend group, family, someone, that gap is gonna close to where the understanding will be there, right? And I think that the world will grow more towards a path of like being helpful, understanding, and giving second chances, especially when it comes to work and stuff like that. I think that's on the rise, right?
I mean, I say it all the time, but you either are an addict or you love someone who is.
Exactly.
And even if you don't know that person yet, even if you don't know the person that you love because they're still dealing with it on their own or whatever, eventually something is going to come to light for the normie with the person that they love that is addicted, right? Like,
100%.
and that's, I think the one thing preventing that maybe right now is discussion.
Yeah.
And talking about it openly. And
I agree. That's why, dude, I love what you guys are doing because of that. I will say that some of my biggest fears, I haven't been that type of person, that recover out loud person, my entire
And that's
sobriety.
okay too.
yeah.
Yeah, and the reason being is there's a lot of shame. Okay, I've tried to get sober so many times. I've hurt a lot of people in my addiction, like a lot, right? And there's a cycle of addiction where you come out all making these huge remorseful like declarations like this is my last time.
Yeah.
And like that was me for a long time. I failed and failed and failed and failed. And then so that in a sense made me like want to shut up about it and be like, okay, don't get me wrong. Most of the people that know me know I'm in recovery, right? Although on my business side, right? Tattoo wise, a lot of people don't know. Like personally, a lot of people do. But I've been blessed in my career, if we're fast forwarding to where I'm at today.
Yeah.
Severely blessed. Like I can't even properly put it into words. But anyways, I tattoo on all sorts of different types of people. I've tattooed on, DJs on the radio. I've tattooed on some like Trump bodyguards. I've tattooed on like literally super conservative, super not as conservative type people that are like part 18-year-olds, just all sorts of different walks of life. And that being said, I just don't really voice it as much on a like publicly that much, but I will. And this is another reason why I think it's on a rise that people are going to become more understanding, because I'll sit here having conversations with people I'm tattooing on that are like, they don't really know a lot about addiction, but they're telling me stories about someone, close to them is going through XYZ, or they're just telling me their struggles in life in general, right? And sometimes I just hear their personal struggles. Maybe it's not addiction whatsoever, but I see that they need that sort of support the same way like an addict does. Sure. I don't know how to word that properly, but I see so many connections there, right? As to like what people need, what an addict needs, what people need. And like eventually this is going to be like a broad understanding that like this is just like how you help people that are struggling. And I know that sounds like common sense, but if we're talking about like the public scene, the social norm, it seems like what seems like the overall public norm, like common knowledge, isn't really that common, right? Like it's not spoken about as much, but I don't know. I'm probably rambling there.
No, this is a dark shadows thing.
Yeah.
When you,
Yeah.
and I just gathering. I mean, it makes sense, dude. You have some people sitting on this bench for hours sometimes.
Yeah.
And you got to have a conversation with them.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
I think in
We're
the
talking.
I think in the professional setting, this is just my opinion. I wouldn't go. Me personally, I wouldn't. Well, I work in treatment, but if I was working at McDonald's and I'm cashiering,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, maybe I'm waiting on an order and it's a fucking DoorDash driver or something. Where's my order? I'm not gonna go, hey, yeah, I was a fucking heroin addict for 13 years, got me out here working cashier now. Yeah. Hey, year and 18 months clean today, bud.
Yeah.
But like this
Guys,
is what
can
it
I
is.
get my Big Mac?
But when you find those cues,
Yeah.
that's when you hone in my opinion. That's when you create the discussion. That's where you can bridge the gap if necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys are unique. I think, and I even bet that you are doing what you do for a living. You, because I have so much, I'm around you quite a bit, but you can smell it on people.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like they've got something happening inside of them.
You can
right
just
now.
tell a heroin
I can see
addict.
it.
Right.
Definitely
You can see it. It's
Trauma bonds.
Yeah, right.
Trauma sees trauma. Real sees real.
Yeah.
Recognize real.
Realize, realize.
But I think
Chaos knows chaos.
the beautiful thing about that is like I feel like those people also smell it on you. Because then they're like, man, this dude's gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like if I fucking tell him
Right.
some shit right now, he's going to get. I smell it on him every bit as this dude, every bit as much as this dude smells it on me.
Especially when you do meth, you just got that scent. You smell like meth. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Smell like a eucalyptic inhaler in here.
So I think that's a beautiful thing, man. And you, in an odd way, I think you've got like a strange, painful therapy chair.
Oh, 100%, man. I think that's what's really cool. Like, fast forward to now, I think I put a lot of my, I won't say, okay, this sounds cliche, but my personal program that keeps me sober, I implement that a lot in my day-to-day life and like what I do, just like being an understanding person. And I'm not even talking about for just people that are in active addiction, dude, for like everyone that comes through, dude.
Just being a good listener.
Like a lot of times that's what it is, dude. All I have to do is listen or I talk. I've had people cry in my chair.
Yeah.
I've helped people get jobs in my chair.
Yeah.
Like I've helped people. I've called my baby mama who is a nurse and I've had people talk to her about some health scares in my chair.
Yeah.
You know, like anything I can do in that moment to like make things feel okay.
Yeah.
Help you come to the conclusion that things are okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do it. Like I will do it. And I love that about my job. It's like the background, what's going on behind the scenes when I'm creating something fucking cool that they'll vibe with and that I'm happy with.
But the reality is like, I mean, I appreciate that for you, but I think you would have done that as a fucking McDonald's worker.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's an innate ability to those who genuinely want to help people in this program that I've been around and that I've seen, that they're going to fucking do it no matter what they're doing. Right. Because
It's in their DNA.
that's
It's a perspective.
I feel like for you guys, that's the job, right? Like whatever you do to make money is the thing that you do to make money. But the job for you guys now that you've been recovered and you've had so many people pour into you to get you where you are, it's like, now I need to fucking go out and get that out there.
That's that purpose piece right there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like once, because I mean, in all reality, every certain sort of person that's been through addiction kind of eventually gets starved of purpose at some point in time, you know? And it's like a dark way to live life, you know, for an addict. And like, if you can have a purpose to help people, like without even commonly like knowing it all the time, just being a helpful person, it just kind of drives you forward through a lot of things you do, I think.
And anytime you're operating out of a means and ways to help somebody else out with nothing, with no expectation of anything in return, it allows you to be in that different perspective.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
like, and then you can now see things from a different lens, from a different point of view. Like, I was talking with someone yesterday about like resentments, and I'm like, I really don't have resentments today. Not saying they don't appear, but like I don't fucking hold on to them like I did in the past. Like, you know, they might last 10 minutes, they might last 10 seconds, but it's like if someone was to do something to irritate me, I have the ability today to look at, okay, well, what's going on in his life? What is he doing? What is he struggling with? Instead of, man, fuck this guy, dude.
That's growth too. I mean,
Cut me off. Or I manage a sober living. Dude, I got guys that are coming in there from the scratch and guys that don't know how to wash a dish. And then they just put him in the, like, so easy. I could just do, what the fuck, dude? Do you not know how to wash a fucking coffee cup? No, if I did that, then, you know, I've seen other guys over time, like, get frustrated with that. Like, this guy fucking dumb. No, dude, the guy has been on his own since 14 and has never had a chance to wash something as a coffee cup.
100%.
So how can we turn
That's
this?
what it is.
How can we turn this into a teachable moment? Hey, brother, come here. This is, you know, we do this together, and then we need more of that.
Yeah. We've talked about it on here before. Like when you start using, it's almost like your life stops. You're growing. Like you started using at 10, right? And you got to go back when you get sober to like when you were 10 and start learning shit from there again. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I know, like I'm not big on saving money or fucking, there's a lot of things that I'm still not good at, even at 44 years old, that I'm still learning how to do now. Because for so long I didn't fucking do them. And now I'm having to go back and like learn some shit that people already know, that people have known, that people at my age have known for fucking years, but I didn't learn them. And I always say that, you know, when you stop using, you got to go back to when you did, and you got to start learning how to fucking live like on your own and shit.
Or celebrating normal shit. Like people like, congrats, buddy, you got your driver's license. Good for you. Like, no, like I was sharing it earlier with you. Like I got a guy that I work with that just got his license back. Fuck yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Bro, when I got my ID, I was so fucking excited. I haven't had one in 4 years. And we're going on a cruise with my brother.
What was your name?
Huh?
Did you use a fake name or?
No. Mine's been expired and fucking suspended for so long that I just said, fuck it, I don't need an ID. Well, we're going on a cruise with my brother for his 50th birthday.
Yeah.
And you can't go on that without a fucking ID. It's got to be a real ID. So I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I can get one. So I was finally sober, so I'm like, let me go get a fucking ID. And I'm trying to get one, and it's like, I don't know if you've tried to renew your ID in a long time, but it's months to fucking wait. 5 months, 6 months. I had to go all the way out to where
Giddings or some shit.
Dude, it was an hour and a half away. I had to fucking go out almost in San Antonio, but like in a little podunk town to get my ID there, because that's the only time I could get in quick to get this. And when I got it, the lady at the thing, I was like, man, I'm fucking so excited. It was like a kid. I'm like, I've been a drug addict for 10 years. I haven't had an ID. I'm going to get to go on this fucking cruise. And she was like, man, let me take it. So she took a picture of me and my ID on my phone and shit. It was fucking wild,
dude. That's awesome.
I was so fucking excited.
But that's great that she embraced that moment with you, though, man.
I mean,
she fucking took time to celebrate with you.
She was like, fuck, let me take it, because I'm like,
dude.
And you can ask Destin, I don't take the best pictures, especially when I'm doing a selfie. She's like, you want me to take it for you? And then she fucking, I didn't get my driver's license that day because I had to do, it's been so long since I've had one. I've got to take the written test and the fucking card test. Well, I'm in a podunk place. There's nobody there that can ride with me, right? So she scheduled on her computer from the DMV for me to fucking an appointment for me to go and get it at another place.
That's cool.
Yeah, she was like, here, but yeah, just like little fucking milestones like that.
We got to celebrate all victories, dude.
Yeah, just such a big deal.
For real, dude.
Yeah. For real. So, what brought you to recovery today? What actually made it stick?
Here we go.
Anytime you sit up, it's about to be.
To tell you the truth, bro, I had to have a lot of failure, man. A lot of failure, right? Like if I'm like fast forwarding that huge story, like I went to prison again, man. I lost a lot of people close to me. I lost a very close friend of mine. Like he OD'd in my arms, basically, which is a whole nother story that fucked me up. Like sent me on a path to get all these other felonies. I tried to kill myself at a lot of points after that. Bro, a lot of growth things, a lot of hard things to go through. Fast forward to, getting out of prison again. I got back into selling dope. I got with that took off a little further than I thought. I was selling heroin at this point. I got with my baby mama and I caught a manufacturing delivery. This is my third time that I was going to go to prison, right? This is a big felony too. They were coming at me with like 15 years. My son, me and my baby mama got pregnant, and he was like a major part in my story, right? Sorry, I don't want to get emotional. Why is it like when you talk about yourself?
Yeah,
you
go
get emotional?
dude.
We're gonna cry.
I'm blessed, okay? I'm blessed because I didn't have my father around too much in my life. A lot of like what I've experienced through life is fathers aren't around.
Yeah.
Society tells you fathers are pieces of shit. You go on social media, it's Father's Day. Everyone's hating on father a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's my fucking current wall.
Yeah.
I need to change that. But anyways, everyone's always downing a father, right? And I'm blessed, man, because I got sober 28 days before he was born, right? I went. It was hard, man. It was hard. My baby mama actually plays a huge role in that. She laid down the law and basically said I wasn't gonna be there for, like, I wasn't gonna be allowed to be in the hospital. I wasn't gonna be allowed to see him if I didn't get sober. And she helped me a lot. She's not in recovery, but she's been working in the recovery scene as a nurse and a lot of different treatments and stuff like that. She helped me through that kick. And even more so when we weren't all in the best of a relationship at that point in time. I am grateful for her, and she definitely plays a role in my recovery. She helped me go through that kick. This time around, I couldn't go to treatment, didn't have money. I didn't have as many resources. And I kicked, right? I was miserable though. Let me tell you that. Like, I don't think I properly summed up, like, cause I fast forward, I went through so much shit, dude. So much shit, going to prison, all this stuff, losing friends. I literally didn't have many relationships left in my life. And like, not only that, but I was coming to this understanding that like, I was just the worst person that was my understanding of myself. Like, I was the worst person that really could be existing. Like, the worst possible version of myself that I could be, I was that. And like, to walk around on a daily basis knowing like, I'm just a piece of shit. I'm just going to fuck people over. No one wants to be around me. I have to be high constantly. Like, I'm getting high while there's, a little girl, because my baby mama has a daughter, in another room, and I'm trying to hide it and like shoot up on my neck or just wherever I can at this point, because I've been doing it so long, I can't get anywhere. Right? So I'm stuck in a bathroom for hours. It sucks, man. It's a miserable way of life. And to do it for so long is just draining.
Yeah.
Draining. Anyways, she laid down the law, said I couldn't be around my son. And I'm blessed because I guess I was just miserable enough that I went into this certain clubhouse. And I will say it wasn't the first time. Like, I made it a month the first time when I walked in this time around. And then I was with my sponsor, and we were doing the third step. It's funny. He brought this. I see him at the gym all the time. I saw him yesterday. He brought this up. Remember that one time when we got to the third step, and right when we were about to do the prayer or something, you were like, "Hey, bro, I relapsed."
That's for being honest.
Yeah. Like, I cannot vigorously work the rest of the steps because I need to go back a few.
Yeah.
But anyways, that time around though, like, after that little short, I need to try one more time, even though while I'm miserable, see if I'm still miserable.
Yeah.
That's when like I actually hit it, dude. I was sick in that fucking room, kicking, and I just kept going to the meetings. And this is why it's like, it's crazy. Like, dude, I used to think 12-step programs are like weird, gay, not my thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But damn, if I didn't have them, I'd be fucked, right? I was at a meeting when I was trying to get sober, like probably like 3 times a day, man, just to like kill the time while I'm kicking heroin, right? I don't know if anybody's experienced that. Dude, it's a horrible
Fucking
feeling.
sucks, dude.
Horrible feeling. At this point, I feel like the more you kick as time goes on, the worse it gets, right?
It's a different kick every 5 years. It's a different kick,
Bro, so bad. And mine was lasting a month, dude. And all I wanted to do was just like, I just gotta get there another day, man. Another fucking day. And I'll be a little bit better, right? That being said, because I was going to meetings so much and I did have a sponsor at the time, I was diving through the work, right? I didn't start fucking feeling better till I was like physically. I'm working on my like spiritual side and like internal things, but like physically I didn't start feeling better till I was like a good portion through the work. Anyways, I got through it, dude. That's the important thing. My son definitely played a big role in that. I'm grateful because he's never seen me high, dude. And he's never seen me as the destructive person that I truly have always been before I got sober. And the reality is the whole time when I was getting sober, I had no clue what the fuck I was doing. I just knew what I couldn't do what I've been doing, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think opening a book and going through steps with people, just being around people was going to make this huge impact, right? But it did, man. And this is just my experience. Everybody has their own route. But being around people, I remember I was so miserable when I first walked in and somebody walked up to me and gave me their jacket as I'm like sweating bullets, but I'm shivering with goosebumps. And that moment was huge, bro. That was huge. I got a hug and I'm like, everybody else doesn't want to be around me. I've destroyed everything. I'm about to not be able to see my son. And this dude gave me a hug and a jacket, like, and said like basically welcoming me, right? It's huge when you're so devoid of like your dynamic of life. That's not there. And like, it's huge when someone gives that to you, right?
Moments.
What's like you thought you were a fucking complete piece of shit.
And that's that was my belief of myself. Like that's all I saw when I look in the mirror. I'm like skinny as fuck. I have holes all throughout my body from abscesses, scars everywhere, bruises on my neck. I literally would try to shoot up in my eyelid once. I'm walking around with a black eye.
No fucking way, dude.
I did. We're going all out on this one. We're going all out. I've done some
Hey, you're first.
crazy shit, bro.
Wow.
Crazy shit. I won't go into too much detail. Sorry, Mom, if you see this. Anyways, yeah.
Wow. Some ballsy shit right there.
But yeah, dude, I just stayed grounded, man. In the program, I made a lot of friends, and that was like crucial, man, because I'm just like redefining like my life at this point. I don't know who I am now. Now the one thing that I always identified, like defined who I was, is gone, and like I don't know how to function, but I was kind of functioning this way. So yeah, I just relearned all that shit, like all that stuff through the program.
Yeah.
And just handling it, and it's so cliche, one day at a time, but it truly is. Like, what's one next thing I can do right? And that's led me to a lot of crazy things, man. That's allowed me to get through situations at work, being connected to so many people. You know, because I was working on 6th Street at the time, and I was kicking a lot of stuff. I was around the party scene. I had a lot of anxiety around that shit. And lo and behold, like that place became a place of comfort for me, man. I got to like exercise my own personality there, right? I got to learn how to talk to people. I got to learn how to vibe out with people, be comfortable with myself, be cool around alcohol and drugs. I got offered them all the time. I got confident that I could say no. And this isn't just me. I was constantly working another program on the background when I wasn't there so I could do these things. And little did I know, like I learned how to talk to women and things like that, right? You know, started trying to dabble around. Me and my baby mama were no longer together at this point. But, you know, I started trying to figure out relationship stuff. Failed miserably a couple times.
Yeah.
Until I landed one that seemed to work very well, currently. Yeah, man, I don't know, dude. I've been able to do a lot in the recovery scene, more than I ever like imagined. It wasn't like my plan necessarily. It just kind of happened. Opportunities have been placed in my lap, and I've been able to be like, yes, dude, I'd love to help. Yes, I'd love to do this. Yes, I could, do whatever I can. Yeah, I don't know if
That's amazing though, man.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome. And I know from what I've heard is you aren't the craziest like recover out loud guy, but you're pretty active while not being so to me, that's just as important or maybe better than doing that, because that gives you an ability to sit back and listen.
Yeah.
Like there was, I'll bring it back to this, but it was a powerful thing in a documentary that I saw about the Columbine shooting, and Marilyn Manson got blamed. Remember Eminem, Marilyn Manson, their song lyrics, they were getting really blamed for that shit. And the guy was interviewing Marilyn Manson, and he's got the weird eye and painted up and shit. And he goes, so what would you have said to these kids if you had the opportunity to speak to them? He said, I wouldn't have said a word. I would have just sat there and listened.
Yeah.
So like
Facts.
and that was really cool. And it was that minute where like Marilyn Manson went from being a freak, to being like, this is just a human being, right? No matter what he is in his art or whatever, it doesn't matter. So I think that's kind of what you're bringing to the table too, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you coming on here, and you just recovered out loud like a motherfucker, man.
And did it well. Did it well. This was a great episode.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. I really appreciate.
we got chemistry. We got.
I think one of the important things about you is like when we were getting Destiny a tattoo, right? Everyone was like Travis Sleeper, Travis Sleeper, Travis Sleeper. And I was like, I had never met you before. And then I found out that like when some of these clubs are having money issues and stuff, you'll do free tattoos for donations for them.
Yeah.
Like give your time and stuff. And that's recovering out loud.
Hell yeah.
And then I think like, because you're so well known in this community, like I still see you go to meetings now that I know you. Now that I know your face, I see you. Yeah. And I think someone like yourself, it's so important for people to see you show up to a meeting because you are far in your recovery and because you are well known in the recovery community, especially in Austin.
Yeah.
But when you show up, it's like, oh shit, Travis Sleeper's here. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a big deal. And I think too, especially like somebody that's just now getting sober that knows you from tattoos or whatever, seeing you show up to a meeting is like, it's a big deal.
I've had that happen, man, where I never told them I was in recovery and somebody was battling with addiction. I knew they were. And then they came up into a meeting and saw me there. I'm like, oh, hey, now I'll open up with you.
Yeah. I think it's such a big deal. And that's the reason that we still go to meetings in a lot of ways. It's not so much for us. Jay Klein says all the time, he likes going to newcomer meetings because it's the most important meeting for him to show up to because it's all about the newcomer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that jacket that someone gave me, dude. That's why I want to help out those clubs as much as possible because I didn't go to rehab this time, right? I went to the meetings and it actually clicked, right? And that might not have. It might take a lot of people a lot of tries if they go that same route to click, but and that click might happen on a bed in a hospital or it might happen if
You remembered.
I remembered,
Man,
bro.
I love you.
I remembered. It might happen, but like if they walk in the room, it might happen there, dude. So you're right. It's important to show up, stay showing up, and it's hard. I mean, usually a lot of people I know aren't going to as many, but when they do, man, when I see them, I'm like, hey, man, how you been? Give me a hug, dude.
I'll get out.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Definitely a big deal.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming by and sharing your story. I know it's something that you don't do out loud, and you shared probably a little bit more with us than you ever have, which is Much appreciated, man.
You're a nice dude. You're a really nice guy, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
You're a nice
I try.
person.
So we'll end with this, man. How do people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. So my last one got hacked. My current one is Travis with 2 S's, Travis SS, Sleeper on Facebook. And then Instagram's my go-to for tattoos and stuff like that. Sleeper Z Inc. Yeah, at Sleeper Z Inc.
And amazing work. Amazing work. He was showing me we're actually going to set something up so he can work on me a little bit. So
He fixed Destiny's tattoo. Destiny's tattoo was terrible,
well,
and he covered that one up, and it's looking amazing.
well,
I didn't think I thought we were gonna have to cut her arm off to make it look any better.
Before you do that, let me check it out. We'll see what we can do.
well, just like that, episode 33.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead, buddy.
Guys, we have 2 Addicts and a Moron merch in stock right now. We got your smalls to your, I think we got what?
3Xs.
3X.
Yeah.
And if you need something bigger, well, just DM Mike.
We'll
and-
get it figured
and
out
make
for
it
you.
happen. But we got them in stock. We're shipping to your state, your country, your wherever you're at. We're
Wherever
gonna ship
you need
them
to
out.
go, just reach out to us and we'll get it all
Mike will
figured out.
pull up. I'll pull up. He'll definitely pull up. Whether you're at work, he just dropped something off to a friend yesterday while she was working. Like we'll pull up to your job.
So about that, real quick, to interrupt you.
Please.
Felicia Groom,
Felicia Groom,
Connor Groom.
Connor Groom.
They are responsible for helping us get these shirts, man. These people are godsends. They are fans of the podcast, and they're both in active recovery and helping.
Well, Felicia's not.
Felicia's not, but she is active.
big and
Right.
yeah.
Big in it.
True.
So as she is and myself, and you referred to me this way, I'm an ally. She's a hell of an ally. So thank you for them. And Travis Sleeper, man, thank you for coming by, brother.
Yeah, no
Appreciate you.
problem.
2 Addicts and a Moron, episode 33. We're out.
Deuces.
Let's go.
All